Hey everyone, welcome back to my live. I am Donette. Oops. So trying to get this in order. All right. All right. Looks like I'm all wrapped up here with wires. Give me a chance to unwrap. Okay. So I am pretty glad that this is in order. I hope so. Yeah, my wires are all over the place today. Sorry about that. So I came on without undoing the wires. Um, so I have just uploaded the video. So that's why I'm here today for just a brief introduction to my bistro. So it should be uploaded now. So if you want to, you can click off and go take a look at what it looks like so far. Not even close to, the finished project, but it actually, it's got the walls on for the most part, floorboards are on for the most part, and everything that makes it looks like a building, it's there. So I'm pretty happy about that part. So what's there to say other than the fact that I'm super excited? Like I cannot wait for this to be finished with. I've been agonizing a bit about the other costs that it's gonna run me to complete this project, of course. Um, and it's one of the reasons why I'm glad that I actually had stepped back from doing this project for this July, which would have been next month, versus putting it back towards maybe December. I think that it's a sensitive time in terms of finances and to make sure that I'm not overspending, and I'm putting the monies like where it needs to go, and that I'm not, pressed for funds because remember, I am funding this out of my own pocket, and taking money from retirement or anything like that isn't an option. So this is literally out of my raw paychecks every time I get paid or savings, of course. And of course, you try not to run that too dry. So I just got another update saying that I need to buy some extra stuff, which is going to run me another $250. So I guess every time you do a project, no different from even when I'm planning my events, I find that, okay, I think that I'm completed with my tables and everything is good with with everything the client wants. But then something comes up, either the client changes something or um, something happens where I just need to go back and spend a little bit more. And so for the duration of the planning time, I have spent a little bit more, maybe about $500 or $600 more. Actually, I would say a little bit more than that because I'm sometimes I throw monies around and don't even think about it. But I would say so far I have probably spent more than $700 than I anticipated spending when I first started the project. Um, am I like up in arms about it? No. Am I disappointed in any way? No, not at all. Because I think that with anything that we do, we expect that there's going to be in times or um, moments when we're just we just have to, I don't know, like we have to spend a little bit more. We have to introduce new things to the environment. We have to, shortage comes up and you have to cover those things. Things can happen. So, there is no way to say, okay, well, this is precisely how much this is going to cost you. The fact that it's not like a whole lot of money, that really is humbling to me. Like, I'm glad about that, because like, if it was like tons of thousands of dollars more that I spent on this project than I anticipated to, I would be very disappointed. But no, it's just within like 700 or so far that I've spent, or that I will have to spend, that wasn't calculated in the beginning. And that includes, I believe, when we said before, some zinc and stuff like that that wasn't calculated within the amount. And then also recently, I got a new bill for some more floorboards, which is going to run at least maybe 245 or so dollars, US dollars. So, what else can you do? And if you look at the actual project, which I just uploaded a video. If you looked at the project, you'll see that some of the floorboards are still not on. So those are the ones that I still have to complete, that I need to purchase and have him finish it up. But outside of that, I am extremely, extremely happy with the project. So, so initially I'd said, okay, well, it's not a big building, and it isn't. Um, but and I asked him to do a 20 by 20. I pretty much know, I'm really good with sizes and or kind of calculating or averaging how things are going to be, and I kind of knew what the 20 by 20 would look like. And then at one point I changed it and I said 25 by 25, and then he said that no, if we did that, something would happen. And then I said, okay, let's go back to the 20 by 20. Oh no, I think when I told him 20 by 20, he budgeted everything for the 20 by 20. So the numbers he had given me, or the money, the amounts that he had given me, was for the 20 by 20. He said, well, then we would have to go back and recalculate everything all over again for the 25 by 25. So I said, okay, you know what, just leave it for the 20 by 20, because then, I was comfortable with that number in the first place, or that spec in the first place. So it's okay. So I think that the 20 by 20, if you take a look, it really isn't that small. And keep in mind, I mean, when I say small, it's not that tiny, and small is relative. It's relative to a person, and in terms of what it is that they think small is compared to what big is. And it's small compared to maybe their home. It's small compared to the average bistro. It's all relative. It really is what you deem as small or what you deem as large. But to me, it's a small project, and it's a small building. And if you look at it, you'll see that it's really not that much of a big building at all. So I think you would consider it a small building as well. But the key is to utilize the outdoors just as effectively as you would the indoors, so that the outdoors will be utilized, will be fancied, will be, fixed up in a way that is very, very attractive. And so I want to make sure that, that the outdoors look the way, and even more so, the inside, that it's on the same level of appreciation aesthetically, and the beauty in terms of what the eyes sees, and what the emotions feel when you enter the facility. So that should be not only the outside, or not only the inside of the facility, but definitely the outside as well. So a little piece of Miami and the hills is what is my little thing that I have going on, my little slogan. So I am, of course, like I said, I'm pretty happy about what's happening so far, and so you can take a look outside of. And I'm not a great editor at all, so some people would have gotten on here, and I'm sure showed you how to take a look at it or whatever, or they should would have shown it within the broadcast. I'm not there yet in terms of editing skills, so I am you know designer in a different way. I'm not a technical person. I use technology, and I use it pretty decently as a novice. But when it comes down to that advanced technology stuff, is things that I still, of course, would love to learn, and open to learn, and but I'm not there yet. Okay, so I have my limitations. So, anyways, it is up. You can take a look at it. Tell me what you think in my in the at the bottom there, and so the next step is to finish it up, which I believe it could be finished within another maybe 2 weeks. I said that I didn't think they would be done by the middle of the month, anyways, because of the rain that held us up, and then of course we knew before that we had the money held up. And couldn't send it through Western Union, couldn't send it through MoneyGram. And so outside of that holdup, there was a second holdup with the rain. So, but is it really far behind, in terms of the projection date? I don't think so. I think it's coming along. We're moving along pretty nicely because today is the 15th of June, which is was when I anticipated it to actually be finished. But now it's not done. But if you take a look at the actual video, you'll see that we're almost done. So, and it's possible that it could be done within another 2 weeks. So, hey. And after that comes I would think that we would want to do the painting inside and outside. Um, and then I am talking to, I don't know if I'm going to have the same contractor do my fence. I'm going to have to shop around with the contractor. So I'm trying to see who will offer me a better price. So I'm not easily sold on, okay, the just because he did a good job over here, you know, he can just charge me any price he wants. And I know it's family or whatever, but I like to shop around. So I know, and also I'm not sure because he's a good builder in terms of the house and houses. I've never seen him build a fence, and so I'm kind of leery on that one. But I'm thinking if you can build a house, you can certainly build a fence, right? Does that make sense? I mean, that's to me. Anyway, he sent in his proposal for the fence, but I am looking at someone else. And I'm going to make that decision once I find out what this other person is looking at. I am also looking for a mixologist, by the way. And for those of you who don't know what a mixologist is, it's the people that do your drinks when you go to a bar. Okay. So, if you know anyone in the Linden area who is a good mixer, who know how to serve up some cocktails and all that great stuff, please hit me up in my at the bottom here at any point. We are looking to open. I have someone that is very dear to me. Who is helping me work on this project, and I appreciate that person so so very much. I really do, and so appreciate the videos, appreciate the pictures, appreciate the drop-bys, appreciate the conversations, the planning, just people who show up, and don't let you down. I hate people who don't show up. Seriously, they just lazy at life, lazy at things, and they just don't know how to be there for you. And likewise, of course, I extend the same energy to being there for people who are there for me too. So don't worry. I'm not just taking, I'm also giving. All right. So I think that's it. So I'm excited. Hopefully, when you see the video, you'll be as excited as I am. And this launch is going to happen. It's going to happen this year. So I'm looking also, man, let me say something. That bar. Is something like I swear it's almost $3,000 to do this bar, but it's so sexy and it's so the people that I'm contracting with is just so good at what they do. It's hard to resist not going with them. So I mean I'm gonna have to pay that money, and the fact that I have yeah, just people who I can rely upon, people who know what they're doing. The size of the bar is at least 8 feet out, back and front. with drawers and entrances that I need to utilize, or the bartender will need to utilize, or those people who are doing who are behind the register will need to utilize. And so I have all these little things that that I want to build into the bar, the concept of it. So it's well worth the money, and plus it has the granite countertop. So like I said before, I didn't want to go cheap with the countertop, even though people, few people that I know have suggested to go otherwise with that, but I'm not with that. Spoke to my mom, and she told me too that the granite is probably the better choice. So I'm gonna go with granite. Um, Probably black, black or dark gray. I like both colors. Yeah, so pretty much that's it. And I still haven't gotten like a quote on what the paint is going to cost. I had asked someone to check on that, so hopefully I can get that price soon. But if I don't, I think I'm just gonna have to go down to Miami, because here in Florida, if you do not, you cannot ship like anything flammable, through La Parkin local air, because I live in Fort Lauderdale. So you can't just go into the Fort Lauderdale office and ship the flammable stuff from here. So things like paint and all that stuff, you'll have to go, or fire extinguisher, which I need to also send for the business. Because I don't know why people don't have fire extinguishers in Guyana. I also need to ship down some fire alarms, carbon monoxide detector. Just so that I have everything secured. Because if someone is in the building and staying in there, and if there's a gas leak, we know that there's a gas leak, you can get out of there because it alarms. I think every single household should have especially in Guyana, in those households where they have God, where they have gas tanks and they're using, as well as I think some people will have, these other machinery that they use to have lights. God, I can't think of it right now. Anyway, when you have these devices that you're using within your home that could cause gas leaks and build up carbon monoxide, you need that detector. I think it was about 2 years ago where the entire family in Guyana passed away and it happens here in the U.S. all the time. So this is not a Guyana problem. This is an issue. Period. And so I think they had some sort of I don't know what they were using, but eventually the carbon monoxide built up and killed that entire family. So my thing is that I want to make sure that the building is secure. All right. And also, I will have floodlights for security reasons. I want to make sure to have an alarm that wakes up the entire neighborhood if something goes wrong, or if someone is trying to break into it. I will have video surveillance on the building, just to make sure that people aren't trying to do something scrupulous. Um, so people can feel safe. Period. All right. So, anyways, looking at all the other expenses, like I said, I'm pretty happy that I didn't move forward with this for July. Being that I'm sponsoring it out of my own pocket, it is imperative that I have the time that I need in order to do all the things. Because, we're looking at, uh, like for example, a double door fridge, like I said the last time, that is about $1,800. So let's say $2,000. Then you have the commercial fridge, and that is about 850 or $900. So let's square it off to about $900. I'm sure after taxes they'll come up to that anyway, or probably a little bit more. Then you have the deep freezer, which is about maybe $600. And when you compare, this is the thing. I was looking at trying to purchase some things over here in the United States, but it doesn't make sense, because I think I mentioned before as well that when and we know this, all of us know this is not unfamiliar to us, because by the time it gets from here, goes to the airport, they charge you taxes, they do all this stuff, and once they are done with you, you're like, okay, I might as well not even be bothered. So just the other day, for example, I went to La Parkin to do a shipment. I had to send down a bed and some other things for the middle room in my grandma's house, which is my mom's room, which I had to move all my furnitures out of, and my party supplies. Remember, I said that I needed to bring those things away because I had broken up her bed, because there was a wooden bed in there from back, I don't even know how many years ago that bed was built, but it was there. And I just decided, I don't know what in the world we're doing with a wooden bed in 2000, and I don't even know what year that was. I mean, when I say a wooden bed, it wasn't built like a real bed. It was just built like a frame, and you just had it's a twin bed. Um, my mom didn't want the big room, which was my grandma's room. I don't know what she was afraid of, because my grandpa used to sleep in there, and I guess she thought that he would come back to get her or something like that. Anyway, I ended up taking a master room, and which was my grandparents' room, and then I ended up building my grandmother a room downstairs. And of course, it's her house. So, and remember, I told you my cousin had also built that room for her. So and then also she could no longer walk up the stairs, so that didn't make sense to keep my grandma upstairs. So I built her that room downstairs. It's a pretty sizey room. In fact, I told you before that he had given her so much space that I didn't have any room for my program, and I had to redesign my program that I had there, just so that we can accommodate the amount of kids that came, because it was also downstairs in that same house. That's where one of the programs was, until I also moved it into a public school. And I know I haven't been very detailed about my programs that I have, but it's there. I'll talk about it one day, eventually. So I eventually brought my grandma downstairs, utilized the master room. My brother took over the other bigger room, so my mom was left with this small room. But she doesn't like to sleep in the room anyway. She ends up outside sleeping in the living room. So, I said, okay, well, what's the sense of leaving the space empty? So I ended up packing a whole bunch of party supplies and all my furnitures, all sort of stuff in there, and eventually I had to get those out. So when I went to the park, and I said all that to say, when I went to the park and the other day, I went there to ship not only some supplies for the business, because I need to start getting things in there, and I've bought a whole bunch of lightings and different things that I for the business, and I wanted to get it done, but I also needed to get that bed there. Now I the guy's like, okay, it's $300 extra to do the delivery and to clear it. And then I calculated, and I'm like, oh, damn, $300. That's a lot of money. This is what I'm saying to myself. And then I'm like, okay, but wait a minute. If I get someone and I send them down, I have to pay for them to go downtown, right? Which is probably $50 anyway. I don't know how much it is, right? I'll still have to pay the taxi for them to go down, then, or because usually I think there's a private car or something they use from the location, so maybe that's why I don't know if it's that much, but anyways, I usually give $50 towards the person who's going, to make sure that they can pay the taxi to go, pay it to come back, and then also they can grab something to eat, because the parking is all day long. So my girl who take my the young lady who takes care of these stuff for me, it's between two people that I usually used to use, but now I only use one person because I don't have the program anymore. And so her, I said, if I, because I'm gonna have to give her $50, then I'm gonna have to pay clearing, right, at customs, and I don't know how much that's gonna be. It could probably run me at least $150 to clear it. This is U.S. dollars, and then I have to also think about the taxi to take it back up to Linden, which is about $100. And actually, the guys who I use, they used to be able to just give you like really great prices, and now their prices are astronomical. Like it's like for a barrel, they want to charge you like a arm and a leg, and that never used to be. Um, as I've been shipping for so long, and it's for my program, for family, for the house, and redoing the house, and shipping all my things from the house in Georgia to Guyana. I mean, I'm talking about tons of stuff. I've spent thousands of dollars to ship over the years. because I've just always been shipping, and I always ship like huge stuff, beds and fridge and washing machine and whatever it is. So I'm accustomed to this, but now I'm like a little bit cheap. I have gotten very cheap, especially since I've started this project. So I'm like, nah, that's $300. But once again, when I calculated it, it didn't make sense. I would have saved probably about maybe $30 the most that I would have saved for all that aggravation and all the extra stuff running around when you can just pay them that extra $30 and let them do the work. So so for the past several shipments, I've just been having home delivery service. So it goes from La Parkin directly to the front door of my grandma's house. So that's pretty much what I do now. I cannot be bothered with all the going back and forth and all this stuff. So they charge me what they charge me. I pay my money and I get my things delivered. This is 2021. I cannot be bothered with all the extra stress of things. So I just do it the easy way. So that made it easier. And when I thought about buying the fridge and everything, coming back to what I was saying before, thought about buying a fridge here. Electronics, for those of us who know, it's the most money. Like if you send something that is electrical to Guyana and even Jamaica, because I've done it in both countries, the pricing, the clearance, the customs is just, the price is ridiculous. So I'm like, why am I going to buy a fridge from here, a double decker or a double door fridge, and send it there? That doesn't make sense. We have quartz there. I can just buy it from there. I can buy my deep freezer from there. I can buy my commercial fridge from there. I can buy, and I have my stove. The stove is going to cost me, I believe, close to $800 to purchase a stove. I mean, they don't have like and then I still have to get a grill. I want to get like one of those big double decker grills. But I think I'm gonna have to ship that because I don't think that they have that there at Courts. But who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. And if you know I'm wrong, just kind of hit me up and let me know that Courts do sell it because I would love to just purchase it local because the extra isn't me right now, honestly. All right, so then I have the grill to purchase, and then once again, that bar is going to run me about 3,000, and I believe actually it's not 3,000; it's $3,500 that she quoted me. So, um, that's a pretty good sum of money that I don't want to have to rush to pull up and you know and have to worry about. So I think that me approaching it through over time is much better than for me to try to do things in a rush. And I think the months that's leading up to December from here will allow me that time that I need without the extra stress or the aggravation, and I can do it. I mean, hey, I can take on one appliance actually at a time. Because if I calculated July, August, September, October, November, December, I've got like 5 months, right? So if I took on each appliance for per month, that's pretty solid. Oh, the bar I'm paying for, like probably when I get to Guyana, I think I'm gonna pay down half the money to her. So that way, that's $1,500 that I'm gonna pay off the bat, just so they can start the project. And but I told her I don't want it delivered until probably November, late November. So the other half isn't gonna be due until then. So therefore, I have a nice leeway that allows me to pull those funds together. And if I were to attack like each of the other ones, 1800, 900, 600, 800, or whatever, piece by piece, then that makes it easier for me to finish this project and get everything done right out of pocket. Like literally, guys, I don't want to stress any part of my other budget. Like I shouldn't be like it shouldn't be an hindrance on my, what we do at home, the bills that needs to be paid, anything that I do for my son that's in college. Like it shouldn't be impacted by this project at all. This project is a total side project, and everything else that I have to do in terms of my responsibilities per month, which is, I have a lot of responsibilities. um, so that means basically, those things should not be hindered at all. This is just my, me doing, and also just don't forget that I do wedding planning on the side. So that allows me to pull in extra funds. Like I just picked up a project for about $3,000. It's not a whole lot of money, but $3,000 towards this project is pretty nice. So I like that. I like the fact that I can depend on that extra income. And I'm talking about locally here in Miami. And then, of course, I had another project the other day. Didn't, it wasn't a lot of money. It was a small project. Probably, I think it was about $700. So that these little side gigs that I get allows me to put money into my project without me worrying so much about, okay, where is that going to come from. I'm making sure I don't pull it from here or there or whatever it is, and that shouldn't be upfront. That shouldn't happen. But of course, you want the program to move along nicely without you having to worry so much about financial issues as it goes, especially when you're doing something out of pocket. Why am I sharing this? Because I know people may think that it's not, like it's something that you couldn't do. Like if you want to sponsor a project, you're probably thinking, no, you don't have the budget right now to do it or the finances right now to do it. And I'm literally breaking it down, telling you that I think it's where you want to put that money, honestly. I've chosen to put my money, because if I'm not spending it, trust me, I know myself. If I'm not spending it on this project, I'm going to be spending it on, you see, I love I love to design. I will be spending it on something in the house. I just ordered some stuff that I probably, like a lampshade for like $100. There's nothing wrong with the lampshade that I have, but I just like the other one better. So and so I ordered that. So you see what I'm saying? Like you can spend money for no reason. The bathroom rug, I'm always changing rugs out. Don't ask me why, but I love to change my rugs out. I just bought a rug from Amazon. Every day Amazon is at my house, I swear. Between Amazon, UPS, FedEx, wherever. It's like there's always either two of these delivery people at my house, or at least one. And if there's no one, then there's the USPS people who show up every day. So there's always something being delivered. So I'm telling you that I spend my money on Amazon, right? And Jeff Bezos is as rich and a billionaire. And why am I not spending the same money on myself? Right? So I'm always finding a reason to buy something out there because I like to, like I said, I love designing. And so, or sometimes I'm working with a client and I have to shop, I have to buy things as they require. They give me their money and then I have to purchase things. So that's why there's always someone here. But outside of, even if I don't have a client, I'm always shopping anyway. So I have found a way to not take my money and put it into the hands of Jeff Bezos and everybody else that I shop with, right? I just bought some shoes. I mean, like two more pair of shoes. Ask me if I need two more pair. I bet I don't. But I like those pair of shoes, and guess what? I spent at least $100 on those two pair of shoes, and they're not like fancy shoes. They're just like summertime kind of slippers or whatever. But I liked it, and I like them both, so I bought them. Didn't need to. And that's this is exactly where I'm going. Like literally we spend these money on things that we have no business spending it on, and the things that we really want to do, the things that we can do to invest in ourselves. Because if you're always a buyer, you're always just going to be a buyer, right? Instead of being someone who is selling. So I have designed something. I've always known that I have to sell in order to keep or to get where I want to go. So outside of my creative skills, in terms of my decor, I wanted to sell something else. And so that this is, this smaller project that I have taken my literal money, hard earned money, and invest in, makes it feel. And then, you know what, also the value that you feel for that project is so intense, because you're not going to the bank and saying, give me some money, and them loan it to you and you pay it back. Literally, you're working. So there's something significant in working your butt off and taking those monies and putting it into something that is going to last for generations to come. Because I am sure that my children don't have to sell this project when I'm done. My grandchildren don't have to, even though they'll be all, well, my kids are all Americans. Thank God they've got some true Guyanese thing in them, and they really want to be Guyanese. So I can see them teaching their kids about their Guyanese culture. And so I think that is going to take maybe another couple, maybe another two or so generations before that Guyanese spirit is totally eradicated from the family. Because I do think that my kids, even though they're very American, that they still enjoy the culture and enjoy it enough that they want to be there. They enjoy the foods, they enjoy everything. So I think with them, even though they're very pro-American, they'll still want to go back and enjoy. So I think that when that day comes, and this project has to be passed on to them, because I plan to do so much more in Guyana. When those projects need to be passed on to them, it'll always be something that they can value, that they can say, well, mom really put her best into this, and that, she really worked hard at, making sure that she didn't get a loan, and that it came out of her own pocket, and all that stuff. And my husband isn't doing any part of this project, by the way. If you notice, I don't mention a lot about him, being involved in it, because this is my personal project. This is one of those projects I took on my own. So he's not like financially putting anything into this project. Can he and will he, and later, as we begin to design more things around it, I'm pretty sure he will. But I actually just wanted to handle this myself. I'm very independent, and I'm very pro. I don't know. I guess I'm just really, I love advancement. I'm very proactive in advancing towards greatness, towards betterment, and it's just where I am. So I'm not of the school of thought that says, oh, you sit there and you wait on your husband to do things. I'm made a little bit differently. That's all. So, but it's my project, it's my personal thing, and we've done lots together, but this one is my baby. So that's why I don't say much about him, except for when it's necessary. So financially, it's going to be something where I've taken on, where my kids know that mom took it on, and she actually saw it through without any interest charges and any kind of taxes, and that is going to be on there later. I'm sure there will be for the purposes of giving back to Uncle Sam, or is it Uncle whatever it is in Guyana. You got to pay your taxes. So, but outside of taxes, I wouldn't have to be worrying about paying the bank any extra monies and interest fees or anything like that. All right. So anyway, y'all know I can run my mouth all day. So I'm gonna go, but thank you again. And if you haven't taken a look at my at the video that I uploaded, you're free to do so. It's about maybe less than a minute long, but at least you get a good idea of what it looks like so far. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you, and we will talk. Bye bye. See you next week.